Hello everyone. It's very cold here. I have no motivation to get ready and hardly any to make this video. But, yeah, I just want to keep up on a schedule with my videos, so I'm here today to talk to you briefly about something kind of fun for me. My name is Melanie Tana. I make videos about stories of all kinds, most especially books, but you'll see me talk about video games, movies, TV shows, etc. And yeah, today I'm going to be talking about the Cosmere world created by Brandon Sanderson. And I just want to say, this is a spoiler video. I don't have the time to censor my opinions because the opinions are strong and they come from a place of spoiler. So, yes, full spoilers in the video, kind of just expect that. Because I want to talk about some opinions / hot takes. I wouldn't say they're all hot takes, so some of them are just my feelings about Cosmere books and just some thoughts I have here and there about them. For context, I have only read Mistborn Era 1, Stormlight 1 through 4, including the novellas in between, Warbreaker and Elantris, and a few little things here and there, plus whatever my family and friends have talked to me about. Right off the bat, let's just jump right in. I'm gonna say, concerning the Stormlight Archive, for those of you who don't know, it is a long series already, and it's only 4 out of 10 books in. It's split into 2 5-book parts, and we just finished book 4. Book 5 will be released in the semi-nearest future. He's working on it right now. And I love that series, and it's one of the series, along with Mistborn, that got me back into reading a few years ago. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Stormlight is too long, necessarily. I think it's like, you know when you want to keep watching a show, but it ends just too soon, and you just crave more of that? I think sometimes that's just okay. You know, like, that's fine. It's good. You're gonna feel that way about the things that you love, that they're over too soon. But I kind of like that with Stormlight Archive. We get to eat up all this plot and information and character experiences. And I think because none of the characters particularly drive me crazy, I don't mind reading all of that content. But I don't think it's too long. I just think it's long. I think the frustration is you can't really casually read it as easily. Like, you kind of have to commit to getting through it, and it takes a while. My frustration is that I don't always feel comfortable recommending Stormlight to people. Same with The Wheel of Time, just because it's a lot of book. It's many book, and I really want to be able to talk about it with people, but it's just like, people have lives and jobs, and it's stressful to get through it. So for that, I understand it. But as far as content goes, it doesn't bother me that it's too long, and I think that that's what I like about it. That's the long series that I love, along with The Wheel of Time, obviously. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the length of Stormlight. Like, I understand why people don't like it, but personally, I want that. I'm okay with it. But something about, like, despite its length, I still feel, and this is like a different opinion, I guess, that, like, it's really frustrating to get into Stormlight for me. I feel like I have to be on the internet and in all these different conversations and on the different, like, the 17th Shard and stuff like that to get the true grasp of the behind-the-scenes stuff and how it all connects. And that's frustrating for me because I feel like there are some things that were never officially established, but we just all know about it now. Or I don't know about a thing and I have one perspective about a character that isn't complete because I haven't read this sub-storyline or some comment Brandon Sanderson made on a forum type situation, and I'm just like, why don't I just get to know this from the books? That is frustrating for me. Because they're so long, why don't I have that information too? But he's creating a huge interconnected world of a bunch of different planets, and I get it, but I'm tired of it. Because I read so much stuff, I don't really want to be scrolling about everything. And also, you run into spoilers. So it's like, I feel like I have to read everything to avoid spoilers and then still get online to actually know what I'm reading, what's going on. And I just, for how direct Sanderson is, I hate that there's still so much mystery in the books that is answered outside of the books, where I should feel like it should be already answered within them, if that makes sense. But thankfully I have my sister to tell me everything she's learned from podcasts and just general internet knowledge. So at least I have that. And it's like still enjoyable to read the character arcs. I just feel like I'm out of the loop regarding the world and the plot. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Adolin is best. That's the note I have written down in my notebook. If you haven't seen my video, please go check it out. I will link it here or at the end or down below or whatever. There will be a link to my sort of in defense of Adolin video, because I actually think he's a really great and compelling character. I don't think he's as dumb as people make him out to be, and I think also the parts where he is a little dumb, it's okay. And I love him, and I think he is crucial to keeping crucial characters alive because he's such a good person, and I love him. So Adolin is best. I stand by that. I think Lift is annoying, and I want to go into that. I don't think that the hate for Lift or Shallan is gendered necessarily. I've seen a lot of comments on that. I think sometimes it can be. I'm not going to say, like, you know, some people just don't like to read female characters. But I think I read a lot of witty female characters, and I wouldn't say Lift or Shallan are particularly either of them. Like, they're not as clever conversationally as they sound like they're trying to be, but the whole point of their characters is that they're trying to be. So I kind of think the hate for Lift especially is like with disregard to the nuance of her character, of her trying to be young, trying to attain that youth that she lost. And there's a real emotional reason to it, and people are like, well, I start liking Lift later and like an Edge Dancer and stuff. And the whole point of that is, yeah, because she has to face who she actually is, and that she's growing up, she's becoming a young woman, and that's hard for her. But I think it's compelling, and I love Lift. I think, if anything, her humor is the most humorous because she's like a 13-year-old girl, you know? Like, she's meant to be kind of dumb with her jokes, but she's still smart and capable. Whereas I feel like, honestly, a lot of the other characters' humor doesn't click for me because they're adults. And they're a little silly in a way that makes me feel like Sanderson's humor is slipping in, and it's like endearing and whatever. But I feel like with Lift, it like makes sense for her age. I feel like it's how people feel like the Lopin, that he's a little too goofy, and I get it. I understand, and I feel like I feel the same way. It's just not as important to me. And these characters are still important, helpful, and endearing and compelling in other ways. But Lift, more than anyone, I think is actually written as well as she needs to be, if that makes sense. Like, I think that I wouldn't change anything about her and her humor and whatever. Especially with Dalinar. I find it really entertaining, but yeah. Here's a quick Mistborn one from Well of Ascension and going into the Hero of Ages. I really don't like that Elend was Mistborn. I hate that he got the power upgrade. I just don't like the powerification of a normal, typical, non-power, like magically powered character. And I can sort of sense that with Navani as well. It's just becoming a little, you know, like, do they need that though? Like, to be their best self? And how is that going to take away from all the effort they've made to be their best outside of having magical powers? I actually really liked Well of Ascension, so I love the book nerd Ellen, who's trying his best to solve things with diplomacy and political strategy. That's like, I love stuff like that. And I just felt like if the world of Mistborn Era 1 was getting so dark and harsh, I guess, that this book nerd couldn't survive, then I think he should have just died, you know? And I think there's other ways that he could have been saved, or other cool magical things that could have been sort of invented for this type of scenario. I don't even care, honestly. Like, I don't necessarily care that he survived after such a fatal incident, you know? But I'm annoyed that he became all powerful, and that I don't know, that he and Vin had to kind of be at that same level, and I kind of get it for book 3, but I'm like, I don't think it was necessary, and I think I would have loved to see a continuation of Elend figuring out how he can still lead and still be a strong member of society, even though he's not Mistborn. And that's just me personally. I think, yeah, I just prefer that about him, and I think it felt like a cop-out, and it felt like because we love Sanderson and we feel like he always has a good reason, I feel like we just, like, let him get away with it a little bit. Like, that he just got to make Elend superpowered, and you're just watching, like, oh, but it's Sanderson. Like, it's kind of dope, actually, because of this. And I'm like, well, if it bothers you, if you don't think it works, it doesn't work for you, you know? And it doesn't really work for me, so that's an opinion I have. This is a heavy one, but very important to me and very prevalent to where Stormlight is going in the future. I do not think that Kaladin, like, the end of his arc should be that he dies. I think that that is incorrect for the arc, for the literary purposes of the character. I think if he died, there's ways he could die at the end of, like, part 1 of Stormlight. But I think overall, the whole point is that he wants to, like, die defending his, you know, his group, his people, his loved ones. And it kind of reminds me, honestly, of Éowyn from Lord of the Rings. I love reading her, especially because she's just like, bless her heart, she just wants to die in battle. Like, that's all she wants. I feel like that's just such a weak ending to his character. Everyone dies. But, like, to his arc? No. Stupid. I don't like this idea. Because he has, that's all he's been obsessed with for so long. I just think it wouldn't be as satisfying, you know, that, like, he learns, like, in all his oaths, that he just has to do what he can, try his best, and not try to die just because his friends are dying. Like, he's like, he needs to accept that other people are gonna die, and it's not all his fault, and even if it is, it's not always in his control, and he's trying his best, and he's a good man, and then he just dies. Like, it would have to be in a certain way, and I just really don't think that it's necessary. And I could go into this more, but I don't think that death is the worst thing you can do to a character. I just think that there's more that he can grow and accept about himself and his power, and he has just overcome a really emotionally turbulent time in Rhythm of War and with Lyran and everything. And I think that, like, that shouldn't be the end to his arc. You know, like, if his final oath is something about him accepting his own death, I feel like that, I don't know, it just seems counterintuitive to his character to me. Like, oh, well, now you want to live and you want to have a good life just because it's worth it and life is valuable, but you know what, psych, you die in battle. Like, I don't know, and I'm so passionate about it, I'm getting, like, intense about it, and I can't express it, but I just think that there's other things that he can go through that can be compelling and painful that don't have to be death. And I think that people saying that they think he's going to die and that's going to be the end of his arc specifically is, like, to be honest, I don't think that is the point of him and his arc. He hasn't been avoiding death, he's been seeking it. He has a really weird relationship with it, and I just don't want that to be how it goes. But there's a way it could be done, I just don't necessarily think that it's that simple, you know. Anyway, to a simpler point, but also important, I think the romance is kind of meh in the books in general. I think there's some parts I like. There are some types of relationships I appreciate us exploring, like Dalinar and Navani being, they're not old, but they're older, you know, they're not, like, young and in love. They've been in love for a while, and it's kind of cute to see them get to be in love now as grown-ups, like grown-ups, and I appreciate their relationship, but overall I just feel like the romance could use a little bit more longing and tenderness and exploration for Sanderson, for the romance to feel romantic. But it might just not be his focus, and that's okay. I think Adolin and Shallan are cute, and that's kind of the point, like, that she's safe to just be a person around him, and it doesn't need to be this big dramatic thing. But I would like a little bit more romantic romance, if that makes sense. Now on to my final point. It's not really my actual general statement opinion is that I hate Moash, and that is not a hot take. So many people hate Moash. He's the worst. But I kind of feel weird, like an in-between about him having a redemption arc. And I think I'm going to make a whole video on redemption arcs because I've thought a lot about it with him. But right now with where I'm at, it's not Teft or Elokar dying that makes me want to fight Moash. His actions there were definitely wrong 100%, and I don't think he truly feels the guilt, and the whole point is that he gives all his feeling over to Odium so he can do whatever he's just, I don't like that. I don't like how he goes about all this. Elokar, I actually understand more killing Elokar, even though that scene devastated me. I still feel like I get it. With Teft, I'm like, wow, he's gone over the deep end. Who could kill Teft? I cried. I sobbed. But overall, I feel like the reason that makes him a little different than other dark characters in the Cosmere is his scene with Kaladin in Hearthstone, where he tries to get Kaladin to unalive himself. But that's his friend. Knows how he feels. They both hate Light Eyes nobles. And he just, when you let yourself turn over to the dark side, to the point of doing that, I lose, like, I really just, respect is kind of gone for his motivations. So that makes me hate him more than the people he's actually hurt with his own hands, because his encouragement of his old friend to do such a thing is just so low. And I just don't think he can have the redemption people think he can. I do think that he can have a minor redemption, but I don't think it should be like on his deathbed, he says sorry, or he dies dramatically to save the day. And I really don't think that it can be like Zuko level. Why do people think that? I don't know, but it bugs me so bad. But anyway, I do hate Moash. That is not a hot take. I don't necessarily think he is as redeemable as people say, but I think Sanderson can do something with his character that's kind of in between, because Moash has some sympathy with us, but is also trash garbage. And I want to fight him personally. No, I'm not calling him Vire. I don't care. Can people stop changing their names? That's my final point. Can people just stop changing their names when they go about the Cosmere? It's so much for me. Only Hoyt can do it. That man is a little, that is another point, and this is my officially final thing. Y'all gotta my sister told me to pass this on to you guys. Y'all gotta temp your love for Wit. He's not a good person. I think he has good person moments. I think he's a good person in certain people's lives, but ultimately, we don't know his goals. We don't know what he's out for. And he has explicitly stated he will do basically whatever and hurt whomever to achieve said goals that we don't really understand. So anyway, those are my hot takes / opinions. I am tired and cold, and and that's basically it for me. But I don't know. If you guys have any thoughts on this, please comment down below. I'm really interested to see what you have to say. This is kind of like a messy video, and I couldn't articulate everything. I'm going to make a whole other video about Moash, though, decidedly. It's going to happen. But yeah. So I just appreciate you guys watching. Lately, it's been really nice to see all your support and the discussions we've been able to have. I've continued on with Book 9 of The Wheel of Time, and I'm really enjoying it. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I am going to go get myself very warm because I'm very cold, and I appreciate you watching. So let me know what your hot takes or opinions are about the Cosmere. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will catch you later with another video, and let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you have any requests or anything you want to fight me over. Please don't fight me. I am weak. I will fight Moash though, and I will die, but it will be worth it in the end. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you later. Bye.